If you're looking to buy a stacked NBA 2K account with max badges and more, visit sportstmb.com. He has been in the community for years and has hundreds of reviews. Click the first link in the description to get your account today.
Before this video starts, if you enjoy this video, there are many more like it already on the channel, with many more like it to come in the future, so subscribe. I'm trying to hit 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year, so I would really appreciate it. I upload almost daily on this channel, so if you're looking for some consistent sports talk, this is the place for it. Also, drop a like on this video. It only takes 1 second, and I can't tell you how big of a difference it makes. After yesterday's drama, I decided I would tackle something less controversial, which is Kyrie Irving. That was sarcasm if you couldn't tell. Kyrie really, ever since asking for a trade from the Cleveland Cavaliers, has been one of the most controversial athletes in sports, and especially in basketball. The list of controversies with Kyrie Irving is a long one, but I'm not going to go over all of them in this video, but I'm sure many will get mentioned. However, it was his most recent controversy that I really took issue with. Now, in general, with his controversies of the past, I didn't feel strongly one way or the other on Kyrie's side or the other. Though I was 100% with Kyrie Irving on the flat earth thing. I mean, the earth is definitely flat. Look out your window. Do you see a circle or do you see flat land? Something to think about. That was also sarcasm if you couldn't tell. But with all other controversies, sometimes I leaned more on Kyrie's side, sometimes the other, but Kyrie calling for the NBA to suspend the season in the way that he did was not deserving of criticism whatsoever. And in general, I think the only reason why Kyrie's opinion was so heavily scrutinized was because of his past controversies that have quite frankly been overblown. So let's talk about the controversy that should not have been a controversy, as well as the villainization of Kyrie Irving. Now, first of all, I do need to mention that B-Souls made a video on basically the same topic. I was planning on making this video before his even came out. That's just kind of unfortunate. But I also think I bring a different perspective, and I'm going to be putting more of a focus on the stuff before this specific controversy. B-Souls made a lot of great points in his video that I was also planning on making. So if you want to go check that one out, I'm going to link that in the description. Let's tackle the most recent thing first and foremost. As B-Souls pointed out in his video, there were three main reasons this was a bigger deal than it should have been. The first reason is y'all want basketball back, like B-Souls said, and that is understandable. However, the way many people went about expressing that was incredibly selfish. I absolutely want basketball to come back, regardless of if there are fans or not, and regardless of if there is an asterisk on the 2020 championship or not. I obviously want basketball back, both because I'm a basketball junkie and because this is a basketball channel, and uploading 6 days a week with no new basketball news has not been easy. This is the first news story that's come out in weeks. But just remember, NBA players, no matter how rich and privileged, still are human beings. They still have families, and they still have a right to be concerned about the well-being of themselves and their families, because this is a risk, and that's a lot more fucking important than you wanting to watch some basketball. The second reason is that a lot of y'all really didn't read anything past the headline. If you actually looked into the article Woj posted, which by the way, Woj was responsible for this because he very unprofessionally called Kyrie the disruptor in the process. Like, that's genuinely irresponsible if you're not a guy who people go to for their opinions, especially when you're reporting the news. That's just hopping on the Kyrie hate bandwagon. But when you actually look at the article itself and look at Kyrie's comments themselves, what he said was incredibly reasonable. All Kyrie really did was ask for what kind of food and supplies would be available to the players in Orlando, and he did this as the motherfucking vice president of the National Basketball Players Association. Y'all wonder why Kyrie is speaking up in a moment like this for all the other NBA players, but he's doing that because it's his fucking job. What would be weird for Kyrie to have done here is to say nothing. He was supposed to say something. And then on top of that, Kyrie didn't even definitively say that he wanted the season canceled. He said he believed that the Black Lives Matter movement would suffer from the NBA coming back because this would be a distraction. And that is a perfectly fair perspective for him to have. Now, I personally lean more on the LeBron James, Austin Rivers side, They believe that they can use the NBA coming back as a platform to spread more awareness of the Black Lives Matter movement. The reason I agree with this is because the people that are going to look for a distraction in the NBA are looking for a distraction anyway, so it's not really affecting it regardless. There is a ridiculous amount of available entertainment sources that the only way you can't find content to consume to distract you is if you are incredibly picky, which I kind of am. So my solution is just to watch the same show 50 times in a row to the point where you can recite all of the lines. Shout out to Parks and Rec. But my point is, there are plenty of distractions in the modern times. There's so much shit to distract yourself with. So I don't think the NBA coming back is going to be any more distracting than anything else. And if anything, this conversation in itself is a distraction. But that is all just one white man's opinion, so take it with a grain of salt, if you please. Wouldn't blame you. But regardless of how I feel about this or how you feel about this, what matters is that Kyrie Irving and both Austin Rivers and LeBron James are not completely right or wrong. You can agree or disagree, but if your response is "fuck you, Kyrie Irving, I want the NBA back," you're incredibly selfish, or you're just trying to be the classic pick one side and everything else is wrong type of person. Like, this is not black and white, it is not right and wrong. I disagree with Kyrie Irving, but I also believe Kyrie was 100% right to believe what he believes and 100% right to express that the way that he did. And the final reason and most important one is that it's just cool to hate on Kyrie Irving now. Because of the perception of Kyrie Irving's character, the dude could say the sky is blue, and you would say, shut the hell up, drama queen, what about when it's nighttime? Like, this guy can do no right to many of you, and that's why this whole thing blew up. If Chris Paul said this, who is not even someone who's all that well liked by NBA fans, this would not be half the story that it is because Kyrie Irving is the one who said it. Moving past this specific controversy, I wanted to talk about some of the older ones and how they impacted this one. And as I said in the intro, I did not feel nearly as strongly on those ones in the past. I understand everything else that was a controversy being a controversy. Many times I've even said the same crap about Kyrie being a cancer in the locker room, and even said that that baggage with him lowers his value as a player. And I still agree with that to some extent. However, where this is pushed too far is when people accuse Kyrie of being a bad person because of his past controversies, and I think a lot of those past controversies are overblown, which results in people thinking he's a bad dude. First of all, Kyrie wanting out of Cleveland was perfectly fine, and the way he did it was perfectly professional. I know LeBron fans are butthurt about it, and I guess I understand that, but outside of just getting emotional, there was nothing wrong with what he did. Kyrie asked for a trade in a pretty professional manner because his aspirations did not align with that of the Cleveland Cavaliers' future. So that happened. Then, first season in Boston, things were going great. The young players and the rest of the team looked great, and Kyrie looked great. But then he got season-ending surgery, and the team in the playoffs defied expectations and got within just 9 points from making a finals appearance despite missing their best player. So, of course, basketball fans and media being who they are, here comes a wave of narratives. There were people saying that, well, this team was so good without Kyrie Irving already, why do they even need him? But because of that first narrative, some of the young dudes like Tatum and Brown, and especially Terry Rozier, got into their heads that they didn't need Kyrie, so there became a power struggle within the locker room. As a result, Kyrie said some not great things to the media, where he basically said he apologized to LeBron James for being critical of him as a leader in the past because he was struggling as a leader, which inherently is not bad, but the way he said it was like, ugh, I have to deal with all these fucking kids. But I definitely do find it very ironic that many LeBron stans were on Kyrie's ass for this, even though he was apologizing to the man they wish they could suck off. Then cut to Brooklyn, and he is part of basically a mutiny that happened within the Nets to get Kenny Atkinson fired, despite Kenny being a well-respected coach, probably the best coach of Kyrie's career. But the thing is, all of the blame for that is thrown at Kyrie Irving when Kevin Durant and DeAndre Jordan were just as complicit. But because the name Kyrie Irving is on it, that's all that sticks. And that is with Kevin Durant being a part of this. There is no clearer example of people being biased against Kyrie than Kevin motherfucking Durant being involved in getting his coach fired, and that goes practically unmentioned. You gotta receive a special level of hate for that to be the case. And again, I must reference B-Soul's video again because he said something that I definitely agreed with, which is that there are people that are very hypocritical about this particular controversy. I'm talking about the first one again. Because a lot of these people here were basically telling Kyrie Irving to shut up and dribble, when it was those same people who rightfully told Laura Ingraham to go fuck herself when she said the same thing to LeBron. People might not say straight up shut up and dribble, but they'll want Kyrie to quiet down and just play basketball, which is just the bitch way of echoing the same sentiment. But another thing I can compare Kyrie to LeBron with here is Kyrie making subtly critical comments of some of his young players on the team and getting his coach fired behind the scenes, which is a very LeBron thing to do. The difference here is that LeBron is so fucking good that you are willing to take that negative, and Kyrie isn't quite on that level, obviously. But still, there is a level of hypocrisy around Kyrie Irving to the point where players like Kevin Durant and LeBron James won't get criticized for things that Kyrie does, and that's saying a lot. Kyrie Irving is not a bad dude. He isn't fake woke to get some social credit points. He could do the same thing by just wearing an I Can't Breathe shirt while getting a paycheck in the process. He clearly did this because he believed it was the right move. Anyone that would be fake woke for social credit is not someone who's really going to do anything that doesn't directly benefit them. There's the avenue where Kyrie could make money in the process while also getting these credit points, but clearly he does not care about that because he actually is genuinely concerned about this. Kyrie stood up for what he believed in, and I damn well respect him for that. Now, that is the end of this video. Please be sure to like and subscribe for more NBA content like this, and cue the outro music.